we've finished a cycle of completion. We're going into the year of the fire horse, like giddy up. Not because you have to get somewhere and you have to race and it's a competition and you need to prove. No, let yourself be unbridled, free, liberated, the wild horse without anything on its back, and gallop towards your joy.
This is Corinne Bloom, and you're listening to Raw Conversations.
Hello, beautiful people. How are you? It's been a while, holidays, and I've been really unwell. You can hear that I'm still not 100%, but I wanted to just show up and check in and see how you are all doing in this, transitional time. I'm not one for the Gregorian New Year. I believe that the New Year begins in the spring with the rhythm of nature. So we're still in the deep depths of winter, and it's a time to still be very inwards and to rest and to sleep and to reflect and to plant seeds. But it's not a time to go get them. as our society likes to say, January is the month that you have to get everything done or else you're a failure. And that leads into, as a segue, what I want to talk about today, which is really filtering down to the simplicity of what is going to change this world, what is going to change everything, is when you begin to believe that you are innately and inherently worthy. And it sounds so simple, and it sounds like such a cliche, and it sounds so new agey and self-development and all of that like crap, right? But actually, it's just the bare bone truth that we have been in a construct and paradigm and in an illusion of you're not good enough, that you need to do, that you need to strive and succeed and prove that you're worthy, that you're lovable, that you matter, that you belong. You have to work hard to be something that somebody else is going to approve of, that some authority is going to say, yes, you're okay. You're allowed to fit in and belong here. And it's such utter horseshit. And it's kept us so small. It's kept us in the amnesia, in the forgetting of who we truly are. And these times right now are what's the word that I'm looking for? There is no disputing that it's a time of remembrance, because what you've been used to, what we've been used to, no longer fits. It no longer works, nor should it, right? It doesn't feel meaningful or purposeful. And the hard aspect of that can conjure up the question of, well, what's the point? Like, why am I here? What is the point? Because the normal distractions, the normal kind of fluffy, floofy, let's put some Tinkerbell, magic powder on it, and let's pretend and make believe that all of this is wonderful and fantastic, and you're free, and this is the way life is, and this is why you came here, and this is what it should be. That's all wearing off. The false magic is wearing off. And what's coming into focus, like a camera that is finally focusing its lens, is the remembrance of who you are, is the true reality. And there is going to be that transitional phase that maybe some of you are still in, where it's the shocking truth. It's the brutal truth. But then on the other side of that passageway, of that kind of no man's land, you could say, there is such immense and profound beauty and peace that comes with just the isness of being. Like, you just get to be, because actually who you are is incredibly magnificent. It's so beautiful. It's so filled with love and compassion and power. Power, not in the way that we've been falsely taught that power is control over, but power of true authenticity and integrity and truth with a capital T, and love and heart and courage and the strength to embody and quote unquote fight for what is true. Not just what's right, but what is true. And so, how do we get to this place of feeling that empowerment, of feeling that liberation? We are ending this year 9 cycle. We are coming to closely to the end of the year of the snake, of the shedding. This is the final purge, the final shedding. And my God, being sick for me, it was like a massive purge. Let it all go. Let it all go. You don't need to carry baggage onto this next flight. You don't. All of this is this stripping away of the fallacy and the illusions, and but in order to get to that next place past no man's land, you have got to love your humanity. You've got to love all of the mundane moments and create beauty within them. And I know that's not always easy. I live in a place that is so lifeless and so dead. The land doesn't breathe here. The people don't grow here. It is the weirdest no man's land that I've ever lived on. And yet, in these 2 weeks of being really ill, I was so surrendered. I was so accepting. I was actually in this incredibly elevated, uplifted, positive, peaceful, beautiful, just state of being. And both when I was terribly ill and in so much physical pain, writhing, and I don't like taking anything to dull the pain. It was just like, okay, this is the crucible, this is the fire walking, right? But it was really remarkable that not once did I go into like, oh, why is this happening to me? And this is awful and terrible, and I don't want to live anymore because this just feels like death. Never once. Never once. It was just like, oh, okay, this is what it is. And my body knows exactly what it needs to do. And somehow it felt like the purge was important, and the letting go was necessary. And the relinquishing of control and the resistance to that which we do not like or we do not prefer. And so never once did I spiral down into that place. It was really just this allowing. But the it was almost like the master test of it. Like that was what so much of last year was for me personally. Allow, accept, let go, don't have the expectation, don't grasp, don't resist. There's loads of stuff that I could have resisted and got angry at, and I had my moments, but there were really what I've been learning is come back to the eternal now. Come back to the eternal now. Be present. Show up with as much love as you can possibly show up with, to your greatest capability and capacity. Stop fighting. Stop fighting your reality, and then you actually get to change the reality. And the reality changes by your perception, and your perception changes by your feelings. So tending to our feelings right now is of utmost importance, because if you find yourself still in a space of reactivity, if you find yourself in the space of still fighting with others, trying to prove your point, trying to be right, trying to, pardon me, fight for justice, fight, argue, what is right, what is wrong, who is right, who is wrong, or I hate this and this is awful and this is terrible and what an awful world that we live in, and there's the resistance and there's the fighting against and there's the despair. Equally, there's the hope of something will make it better, something will save us. All of it is the illusion. And I know that sounds like some spiritual jargon bullshit, but I say it's the illusion, not in a way of spiritually bypassing. I will look the bull in the eye. But it's It's like the how do I describe this? It's like the bars of your prison are showing themselves. And it's going to make you feel like you're behind locked bars and you're stuck and you're trapped. And that is the illusion, because you have the key and it was never locked in the first place. But what the test is face your fear. Face the part of you that isn't proud of yourself, that is ashamed of yourself, that judges yourself, that condemns yourself, that says you're not good enough or lovable enough or significant enough, you don't matter, you don't mean anything, you don't belong. It's all the bars and prison that has been perfectly designed around you so that you remember how to free yourself by remembering that you are already free. And it comes through a state of being. And that state of being comes through the acceptance of all that I am, all of my humanity. You have to accept your shame, your judgment, the way in which you hate yourself, the way in which you don't believe in yourself, the way in which you feel like you're less than whole and mighty and amazing and powerful and glorious and beautiful and all loving and compassionate. Anything less than that, you have to accept and you have to love. And it reminds me of this series, this children's book series called, I think it's called Dragon Realm, something like this. And there was two different series that went with it. And there was one part where, of course, it's like a story of good and evil, right? But there was one part of a book where there was something called the Mirage. And you were never meant to go into the Mirage because people that go in don't come out. And so it was this off limits place of this kind of, dragon realm where they train children and their dragons and go off into the world and fight off evil, right? But these kids and their dragon recognized that the only way to change what had come in, I don't remember all the details, it doesn't matter, was that they had to go into the Mirage. They had no choice but to go into the Mirage. And they made a deal with the being that controls the Mirage, because normally no being is allowed to come out. They had to find some kind of like mirror or something. There was some symbology in that. And so this creature that runs the Mirage said, okay, I will put you all through a test. And if you all pass the test, then I will set you free. You can leave the Mirage. And so they individually went into their own test and their own world. And basically what it was you had to face your fear. And they could even go into, I know this is being presented to me as a test and I have to face my fear. And so they'd go through all of these like trials, and they're all individually, they're all on their own. They're not doing this together. So they can't rely on each other, because most of the story was about how they collaborate and come together to really support each other and move through the challenge, right? But this was a complete solitary journey. And one of the main characters, he thought that he'd gone through everything. Like he'd gone through the hardest aspects of facing fear and slaying this and getting through the desert and all of these scenes that were illusions, but scenes that were coming up, and he could recognize the fear, and he kept on facing it. But then it was as if he had come to the end of it and he'd made it through, but he heard that his sister hadn't. He heard that his sister had failed. And so he would have lost her forever. He would never be able to see her again. And it brought up the most agonizing terror, fear, sadness, pain, angst. And he's like, how could this have happened? How could I have failed? How could I have not saved her? He went into all of the self-talk and the blaming and the reprimanding and the anger and all of these things, and defeat and just loss. And now what? And it seemed like it was all over, right? Like that was the worst thing that could have happened. And then he recognized, I'm still in the test. This is still the test. And when he recognized this is an illusion, it's not real, and he really embodied himself without the fear and the story and the tragedy and all of that, then he popped out and they're like, yay, you made it. And they had all made it. So there can be illusion within illusion, fear within fear, a nightmare within a nightmare. And we don't get through to the other side until we face that fear and we recognize there's nothing to be afraid of because it's not real. We're infinite, immortal souls, and nothing can touch our soul. Fear can certainly control it, but nothing can actually have authority over your soul. And when you say, no, you do not have authority, this fear isn't real. Kill me, fine, kill me. Nothing can. And so, yes, we're in this physical body, in this finite experience that is like a game that we're in to come in and learn and grow and evolve and expand through and alchemize and learn how to be creators and all of these things, right? But the physical body ultimately doesn't mean anything. It's not the end. So, what would life look like if there wasn't the fear of death? If death is just a transition going back home, going into the real reality, that this is the dream and the illusion? What if there was nothing to fear? What if nothing could capture your soul and your being? And what if the keys to your own cage are your self-love? Your unconditional, loving, compassionate acceptance for all of who you are. So the invitation is recognize the story. Recognize and really see the fear that maybe you still need to face. The trauma that you need to bring forgiveness and healing to. Not because you're broken or you're a project that needs to be fixed and completed and tied all pretty with a nice bow, but because you're growing and evolving as a soul through this sometimes very tumultuous human experience that nothing can or will change until we come into full acceptance of who we are and say, I love you no matter what. I'm here for you no matter what. I trust you. I believe in you. I accept you. I'm here with you, and I will never abandon you, and I will no longer judge you, and I will no longer fragment and segregate you from yourself. These are the words that we need to say to ourselves. These are the words that give us courage, because we get to just exhale and relax into no longer needing to try. Don't try so damn hard. There's nothing you need to prove. We just have to keep on returning here, now, into love, into the I am, into the fact that you are source, that you are an expression of source, that you're never alone, that you're not, there's nothing wrong with you. There's no sin. You're not going to hell. All of those are man-made stories, and all of those, to be honest, are just states of being. You can live in heaven or hell right here, right now. But you will always return to love because you are love. You will always return to source because you are source. So this is a huge final shedding of the illusion of separation, the illusion that you're not good enough, the illusion that you're just some tiny, insignificant dot in the middle of nowhere. No, you are beautiful, you are special, you matter, you are part of the web of life. You are source, God, creator, spirit, universe, multiverse, angelic, divine. You are all of these things. We all are all of these things. And anything that tells you otherwise is false. So we must really choose wisely right now. Do we choose the path of fear and drama and reactivity to be caught still in the illusion of chaos? Or do we choose the simple path of love and presence, of compassion, of connectivity, of collaboration, of creativity, of life giving? Look to the sacred geometric forms that are life giving, not anti life, that are infinite, not finite. Some interesting research you can do. But just to bring it down into the real bare, stripped, raw, naked version of it, love all of you. Love your humanity. All of it. I'm not kidding. All of it. You think you did something shitty? Can you still love yourself? Would you have preferred to show up differently? Can you still love yourself? Can you be that loving parent that is just there for you, that hears you? It's okay. Maybe you feel you made a mistake. Maybe you could have shown up better. It's not about punishment. It's about understanding and love and compassion and support. Next time, show up with more love. Next time, be more kind. Begin with yourself. I'm not here to want to be a teacher that says this is what you need to do. I'm here as a fellow traveler. That from my experience, the more loving and accepting and kind and gentle I am with my entire self, the more peace I feel. And I'm still waiting for my external world to reflect my internal one. I feel like my internal world right now is actually one that is very peaceful. I'm still stuck in this kind of no man's land that I would prefer not to be in, because I want to live an inspired life that is alive and adventurous and beautiful and connected with people and community. And I live in just a vacuum. But it's taught me a lot, because it's taught me to find my inner inspiration, my inner beauty, my inner appreciation for even the most mundane, bloody, boring moments you couldn't believe. It's made my inner world rich. And I trust that the outer will reflect that when it's all ready to fall into place. So you can either look to the chaos in the world and see everything that is terrible and horrible and ugly and awful, or you can get really quiet and find the beauty of the silence within you, the beauty of the peace that is within you when you come into that unconditional, compassionate acceptance. You can spend your days trying to imbue a little bit more love and a little bit more light into everything that you do and say. All you need to do is show up with presence. All you need to do is remember to open your heart again, and remember that you are in a place of power when you are in an open heart. And just to be more kind, smile more. Let go of what's right, what's wrong, the reaction, the righteousness. Let it go. It doesn't mean anything. What means anything and everything right now is, how do we show up for ourselves and for others, with ourselves and with others? We are the embodiment of love in human flesh form. That's our only task. And then go out and have fun. Go experience the world. Go travel. Go have an adventure. Don't limit yourself. Follow your heart. Follow your inspiration. Yeah, you might need to really take a risk. It might bloody scare you. It requires courage. Go do it. Go live. This is the life. This is the year to live. I mean, it's always the year to live, but we've finished a cycle of completion. We're going into the year of the fire horse, like giddy up. Not because you have to get somewhere and you have to race and it's a competition and you need to prove. No, let yourself be unbridled, free, liberated, the wild horse without anything on its back. And gallop towards your joy. Gallop towards your inner peace. Gallop towards all that you deserve, because you are source and love itself. Do not forget who you are. Do not forget who you are. You are love. I'll leave it at that. As always, take it or leave it as feels right for you, and loving you from afar. Don't forget. Love you.
You've been listening to Raw Conversations with Corinne Bloom. Thanks so much for showing up, listening in, and being a part of the conversation with me.